City. It's time for JW Fusion with your hosts, James and Wendy B.
Welcome to this week's broadcast of JW Fusion. I am your host. No, I'm not. I'm your co-host because Wendy is really the host.
Just gonna take over.
She
like
just
that,
let me play like I'm the host. But my name is J.H. Carpenter Barnes, and I'm here with
Wendy B, the co-host.
The one and only.
I am.
The only and one.
I think a lot of people are happy about that.
They may be, but the world couldn't handle two of you.
I don't think so.
I know I couldn't.
I don't know if I could.
Listen, this week we have an amazing broadcast. We have with us the lovely and vivacious, gifted and talented.
All of that.
Introduce our guest, my love.
This is my new friend, Elissa Frazier. Beautiful woman.
Hello, how are you?
How are you, sweetheart?
Great.
Thank you for being on the show.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Thank you for joining us.
I've been excited. I know y'all saying she excited again, but I've been excited about having you
Yay.
on the show because we have something in common that I don't often find.
Yes.
So, shall we get started, darling?
Just jump right on in with both feet, baby.
Well, the way I met Elissa was through a mutual friend, Alma. Shout out to Alma.
Yes.
And she's saying, I have this friend and she has two special needs children. And then the record scratch.
Yes.
What did you say?
Yes.
Yeah, everything stops when she hears that.
I have two special needs children. One is in heaven now.
Yes.
She's 21. But at one point I had two in the house. And I was like, nobody understands
Yes.
this.
Sure.
Some people may have one. You know, you see on TV if people have more than one, it's because
Sure.
they were, had the big heart and adopted
Sure.
them. But you too have two
Yes.
special needs children, but the total of three, like I did.
Yes.
Two boys and a girl, like me.
Yes. We actually have four.
Uh-oh.
So we have our little mama, which is
Little
4.
mama, uh-huh.
And we have a sophomore in college, Harlem.
Oh, cool.
Yes. Yes.
Harlem.
Yes. So we have a big girl, a little girl, and our two boys in the middle.
Wow. Harlem is a girl.
Yes. Harlem's
Oh, that's a cool name.
love
That is such a
it.
cool name.
Yes.
I love
That's
that.
cool. So we met because you wrote this amazing book, and I did
Thank
read
you.
it, and I loved.
Yay.
I loved. I can feel the spirit in the book. So tell us about your book.
Okay.
Daddy's Favorites.
Okay. Yes. So, Daddy's Favorites
Yeah.
is a book about a little girl who is a ball of energy in her family, and she has a brother who has autism. And her brother who has autism has moments in life, and in these moments he kind of melts down in different times. And she, being the little girl that she is, wants mommy's attention, daddy's attention. She wants to shine, and she
Yeah.
does shine. But when her brother has his moments
Okay.
or his time when mommy and daddy need to stop and
Intent to him.
kind of work through things with him, then she kind of is off to the side a little bit. And so the book is really about her realizing that I'm daddy's favorite, but my brother is daddy's favorite as well.
There can be more than one.
There can be more than one, so it's daddy's favorite, Fritz with an S. And so, it's just really about families that have been touched by autism,
Okay.
but really looking at it from as a parent, when you have multiple kids, sometimes the other kids, you're giving so much that the other kids are like, I need as well too.
Yes.
And so just having it from that perspective.
That's an awesome lesson for parents
Period.
who have non-autistic children or children with special needs to remember every child is special.
Oh yeah.
It's just their needs are different.
Yeah.
And you have to remember that every one of your children needs to feel that they're special. They don't need to feel that that one particular child is more special or more loved than the others. Because then in some families, they want to beat each other up, or there's a resentment that grows up. And because they're adults right now, they carry resentment towards their siblings because of, in the African American community, it could be complexion.
Yes.
There are children that I know of, families I know of, where you may have one fair-skinned child, and then you have the rest 2 or 3 are darker skinned, that fair-skinned child is treated differently
Sure.
than the others, and they resent it. And then the other can be construed. The fair-skinned child is treated differently than the darker skin.
Yes.
So it's important that children are treated where each and every one of them is special,
Yes.
where they can value themselves,
Yes.
and they get that validation early.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they're not
Day
running.
one.
They're not running around the street trying to find validation somewhere else, which
Yes.
isn't healthy.
Yes.
So that's an
Yeah.
awesome story. That's so. I know we're early in this show. We always promote people's books, but where can that book be obtained?
Yes.
We're going to mention it again. We want to mention
Yes.
it
A
early.
few
And
times.
mention it again.
Yes.
It's an easy read.
Yes.
But it's
Yeah.
powerful. The message is powerful. So where
Yes.
can we find it?
So Daddy's Favorites is on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
So, shout out. We love Amazon. Also, EduMatch Publishing is the company that I've partnered with.
Okay.
And
Say that name again.
EduMatch.
Okay.
EDU. Match, MATCH.
Okay.
Publishing.
I never heard of
EduMatch.
that. That's pretty cool.
They are a company that works with teachers.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so
Okay.
a good number of their authors are folks that have taught or are principals or used to teach. And so a lot of the stories are connected with kind of how have I grown
Okay.
in the as a teacher or with my kids. But then there's also, and just really quick, one of the authors, her name is Mandy Fralick, and her book is about trauma.
Okay.
Right, how teachers
Okay.
and schools experience
sure.
trauma and
Yeah.
how they kind of deal with their mental health.
Sure.
And she kind of pulls that veil back where she says, "Hey, I'm not doing so great, and I am being this super strong person for the kids in my classroom, for my family, for all these different things." And she pulls it back and she says, "Hey, let's talk about mental health."
Wow.
And she pulls lots of people's stories together, lots of teachers, and I just thought about, like, man, we don't talk about.
We don't.
It's kind of like shushed, like,
Yeah.
this is not a good thing. Let's not talk about it. That's one of the reasons why I'm really appreciative of EduMatch, is because they're not just kind of putting out people's stories. They're putting out stories where people's lives are, where you're kind of having to think about things
Sure.
in a different
Yeah.
way.
Things that we should do. Things that we should
yeah.
talk about. There shouldn't be a stigma
Sure,
to talking about
sure.
mental
Yes.
health.
'Cause
But
a lot-
yet there is.
Yeah, because a lot of times the things we don't talk about are the things that should be talked about.
Yes.
Right.
Talked
And the
about.
more secretive you try and be with something, the more power it has
The
over
more
your
power
life.
it has.
It does.
That's true.
In a
It
negative
does.
way.
Yes. So her book is called The Fire Within.
The Fire
The
Within.
Fire Within. And so, just as an example to say, so
Okay.
So EduMatch Publishing or Amazon.
Okay. Excellent.
Awesome.
Excellent.
So now
Excellent.
this is one book.
Yes.
Oh, wait, and the author name is Elissa Joy.
Yes, my author. So my government name,
Your government
right?
name.
My government name is Elissa Frazier, but I was always Elissa Joy when I was
Okay.
growing up, and so my father is. You're both names. That's your name, and so
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Elissa
Elissa
Joy.
Joy,
okay.
So that's my author name is
That's
Elissa.
awesome.
Yes.
So now you have 4 children, now
Yes.
2 with special needs, and I got to talk to you a little bit before we started the
Yes.
show. Tell us about Ethan and Levi.
Yes.
Whose names I love.
Thank you.
I love those names.
I
Thank
love
you.
those names.
Yes.
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 So both Ethan and Levi are on the autism spectrum, and Ethan is more Asperger's.
And explain to people who
what
don't
does
that
know
mean?
what that
Okay,
means.
so Asperger's is, so the spectrum is kind of like it's a continuum, right?
Sure.
And so in that continuum, you have kind of different needs, different abilities, different talents, different strengths, different ways of expressing yourself. And so Asperger's is kind of the end of the spectrum where you would meet a child or a person, and when you see them, you would think that, man, hey, how you doing, dude? You're just like me. However, when they begin to talk to you, you'll begin to notice some things. So folks that have Asperger's are extremely intelligent. They are
Methodical.
Methodical.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I need that.
And
They're
it has
methodical.
to be that way, right?
Yes, they're extremely ordered and analytical, and so we call Ethan literal Larry. So
Oh,
we
cute.
used to say, oh my gosh, that's cold, and Ethan would say, that's not exactly cold, and so we would have to explain to him that,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
no,
Yeah.
we mean that's amazing, that's
Yeah.
great, and
Yeah.
so
Oh, okay. I see.
doesn't
Yeah.
understand sarcasm in terms of relatable conversations.
Yeah.
Really in terms of having that back and forth, that personal interaction, he struggles with. And so he wants to have connection with folks, but he doesn't kind of read their signs.
Sure.
And so with folks who have Asperger's, oftentimes they have breakdowns in terms of social communication because they struggle with I say something, you say something. We have eye contact, we have tone of voice, we have spatial
Sure.
separation, and so those are the kind of things that we work on with Ethan. And he was a kid who began kind of, I guess you can say, on the benchmarks, and then he kind of reverted. And so what does that mean? That means like maybe 6 months after he was oohing and cooing, he didn't talk.
And is that typical of autism? I've heard that story before. The
Yes.
child seems quote unquote
Yes.
normal.
Yes.
Then all of a sudden you see some
Yes.
differences.
Yes.
Okay.
And so, yes. So
Okay.
he kind of reverted back. He wouldn't make eye contact. He wasn't giving kind of the response back and forth with a parent that you would have. And then he wasn't speaking. And so when he needed something, he would kind of flap his arms. He would
I've heard of that
kind
one
of make
too.
noises.
Yeah.
And we, as a family, ended up putting both of our sons, but we started off with Ethan because he was older, in developmental therapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy.
All the therapies.
All of the
I know that.
therapies.
I know.
And the family said, there's nothing wrong with that boy. Like he doesn't need
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
He doesn't need that. But we did. And, his tongue was loosed, as we say. So
Okay.
he
Yeah.
started talking to us.
Yeah, you were
and-
telling me about his first sentence.
Yes,
You were
he-
like, what?
Yeah, he started talking to us, and once he started talking to us, we were like, "This is great. This is amazing." So then we realized kind of that a lot of the check marks of kids with autism, he was hitting on a lot of those. And I will say this, that autism is a designation that identifies behaviors, and doctors will say this is the way they think, and I do believe that's how the brain functions. However, there will be phenomenal things that our children that have, we call them exceptionalities, right? That they'll say and do and remember, and I'll say, oh my gosh, how did you remember that? You could be a surgeon, or you could be an architect or engineer, where you're designing the foundation and the structure of maybe a government building, something
Sure,
important that
sure.
holds people's lives,
Yes,
because
sure.
you understand
Yes.
the intricacies of how all these
So
things work.
detailed.
So detailed
Yes.
that you are the type of person that I would want to be operating on me.
Yeah.
I want
Yeah.
that surgeon.
Like, oh, he
I
got
want
it.
you operating
He's
on
good.
me.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you what. Wendy and I had a conversation. I don't know if you remember this. I said I was reading a book called Brilliance, and this book was about something that happened it wasn't in the too far distant future, but there was a spike in gifted children, and they all exhibited traits that were off the scale as far as intellect,
Yes.
paranormal abilities, psychic abilities,
Yes.
Physical abilities.
Yes.
They were exceptional.
Yes.
And I said, you know what? What they're talking about, autism,
Yes.
and saying it's a disability. I said, babe, autism could be the human race, the beginning of us growing
Yes.
Evolving into.
yes, exactly, because I believe in creation. I believe in the beginning God.
Oh yeah.
But I also believe that God did not stop creating, and everything that God creates grows and increases. So you look at where we've come from in the past 100 years. Okay, this is the year, or say past 150 years. This is the year 2019. 150 years ago, we didn't have this technology.
At all.
In 150 years. Now,
Not even thought of the
technology. Thousands of years.
Right.
Yes.
But within the last 150 years, so much technology has evolved.
Yes.
Yes.
How much more will be in the next 50 years?
Yeah.
Yes.
Even from when I was a kid, there was no,
Yes.
if you wanted to heat up your dinner, you
Yes.
put it in the
Put that in
oven.
the
There was no
oven.
microwave.
And the
Yes.
capacity of the minds of the people that will be able to, because the technology is a tool, right?
Yes,
But
exactly.
the people that are managing, creating, adapting that technology have to have a certain set of brilliance.
Look,
Exactly.
I
Absolutely.
believe, I
That's
firmly
huge.
believe
Yes.
that a
Yes.
lot of the people that are on the cutting edge of technology and innovation, if you test them, I bet you a lot of them are on the autistic scale.
Absolutely.
I wager, and it's just kept quiet.
Yes.
You know, because they call people.
Yes.
So you know, when you're a genius and you created the cell phone, they call you eccentric.
Yes.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But if you're from 63rd and Halsted, they called you autistic.
Yes.
You know
Something's
what I mean?
wrong with you.
Something's wrong with you.
Yes.
But if you come up with something, oh, he's brilliant. He's a
Yes.
genius. Well, they're both brilliant.
Yes.
And they're in
and
a
they
distant.
both could be the same.
Yeah, they're just in different places.
Yes.
And one has not reached their potential or
Oh,
had the
yeah.
opportunity to exhibit
Oh, yes.
their abilities. So the fact that you're sensitive
Yes.
to each child's
Yes.
needs,
Yes.
you can, as they grow up, you can kind of guide them.
Oh, yes.
Because you know where their strengths are.
Oh, yes.
You know where to encourage them. You know where not to aggravate them.
Oh, yes. And one of the things as a teacher one of the things as a parent that helped me become a better teacher, I thought, was when I would be in class and I would see children that would hide. So they would hide
Okay.
their intelligence.
Sure.
Or they
Oh,
would be
yeah.
or
Yeah.
they would be extremely sensitive, and they would try to put on these layers to kind of make themselves blend in
To fit in.
To fit in.
Yeah. Because that's what
And-
children
Sure.
want.
Because
Yeah,
that's
they
what
want to
children
fit
want.
in.
Want
They
to be
do. They do.
accepted.
They want to be accepted. They don't want to be different. And so one of the things that I began to openly say is that, and I taught high school children for years.
God bless you. for
Yes.
that.
I would say, you can call me all kind of 4-letter names, but if you tell someone that they're dumb, or you tell someone that they can't do something, or you speak to them in a way that makes them feel low about themselves,
Sure.
that's the worst thing that you can do in
'Cause it
this
stays
space.
with them.
Because it stays with them but
Until adulthood.
until adulthood.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? But those things cannot live in this space. And so I said that is beyond when we talk about bullying, right? When you're bullying of the heart and the spirit,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
Then you have no idea how that gets amplified. And for some children, like adults, we replay it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Over and over again.
Because most of us, as I know, at 51,
Yes.
I can remember everything negative that was said to me as
Yes.
a child.
Yes.
And my son had a teacher who told a group of, it was him and some of his friends at a
Oh,
table
yeah,
at lunch.
Yeah.
And
I
she
remember
called
that.
them something horrible. And I was like, wait, no. And my son was like, well, she didn't say it to me. I said, no. She's not allowed to say that to anyone in that
Yes.
position.
Yes.
That's
And
right.
I will be making the phone call. And I
Yes.
talked to her and I said, you have the ability to build or tear down.
Yes.
And I know children can take you there.
Yes.
Trust me, I know.
Yes.
But you have to be adult enough
Yes.
to walk away.
Yes.
Because I said, I think if I challenged you to tell me the negative things that were told to you as a child, you can spit them out.
Sure.
You don't have to think about it,
Sure.
struggle.
Sure.
You remember.
Sure.
So you're telling these children
Sure.
was not acceptable. And if
Sure.
you feel the need to do it again,
Sure.
and if I hear about it,
Yes.
we're going to have a much more
Yeah.
in-depth conversation.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you don't have that right as a
Yeah.
teacher.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was livid, but
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah.
People here, it's bad, and more teachers should. And I don't know because I'm not a teacher. If
Yes.
they even go through that in the curriculum, like this is something that you're
Yes.
empowered to make someone feel. I remember my teachers who made
Yes.
me feel phenomenal.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will never
Yes.
forget them.
Yes.
So I'm glad that you brought that up.
Yeah, and it took me time. I'm just saying, just as a mom, to think that when my child is in that room and I don't want my child in a corner. I don't want my child to be treated in this way.
Sure,
I don't want them to think that they're, like this thing, like whatever this word or term that they've been deemed, that is who they are, right?
Yeah.
So even, I'm just saying that, like I had to grow to that.
Yeah. But being a mom of these 4 completely different children stretched you, molded you, shaped you. But then you had the insight to carry it over into being a teacher. Like, wait, at home, I know I have to do this.
Yes.
Let me see how that's awesome as a teacher to do.
Because a lot of parents don't have the insight because of their own upbringing.
Oh, yeah.
Because a lot of times, I did it when my kids were small.
Yeah.
You catch yourself repeating
Oh, yeah.
the same
Suck it up.
the same patterns that your parents
Yes.
used on you.
You've been programmed.
And you think
and
about
reinforced.
From a young age.
You think about how it made
In
you
you.
feel, and you back up and say, "Whoa, this isn't good." And then I have actually said to my kids, "Hey, you know what? I was wrong.
Oh, yeah.
I was wrong."
And a lot of parents don't even do that.
Oh, you got it.
yeah.
Because that means a difference in turning around what you
sure
said
does.
wrong. Because we're human.
Yeah.
But the fact you could sit down and say, I apologize.
my father never told me he was wrong.
Oh, yeah.
My
never.
father either.
Never. He was never wrong.
Oh, yeah.
And as
Oh, yeah.
as awesome as my mom was, my mother never said I was wrong. I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have done. That was how it was back then.
Yeah.
But we can't do that now because our children's minds are so malleable, so early, and
Oh, yeah.
like gigantic sponges.
Yes.
They absorb
And they have so much
much.
coming
They're
at them.
stressed out. And
Oh,
the
so
kids
many-
are stressed
They're so
out.
stressed.
Yeah.
The competition at an early age is there.
the kids are
Yeah.
stressed
And they have
out.
all this input from TV, radio,
Yes.
internet. They have so much more stimulating.
Absolutely.
Well, you know what? I remember when Dr. Thompson was on our show, he was mentioning a conversation he had with a pastor who was a renowned pastor of a large church. And he said that when the guy told Dr. Thompson, he said, when I was pastoring, I was the largest voice in my people, in my parishioners' life. The people in my church, I was the largest voice in their lives. When we were growing up, our parents' voice
That's it.
was the
Yes.
largest
And it
voice
stayed
in
right
our
there.
lives.
It stayed.
stayed
Oh
right
my
there.
gosh.
But
You couldn't get
now-
it out your head.
Yes.
Nowadays, you got kids with Bluetooth headphones on.
Yeah.
Your voice is one of several voices, not to mention the video voice,
Oh,
Yes.
which is even more powerful
Yes.
Right, 'cause you
because
have
it's
pictures
audio and visual.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
I would say it's having more influence
Yes.
with our children than we're having if we're not
Yes.
careful.
Yes.
But that's the beauty about, I hear a lot of stories about, you make them unplug at some
Yes.
point.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
don't get
do.
to just stay attached to this box
Oh,
full of
yes.
information. We're going to have, and my son, I think I told you about it, him and his friends went out to eat. And what they did, they thought of it, which I thought was phenomenal.
Yes.
They were all sitting there and they were told, okay, we're going to put our phones in the middle of the table,
Yes.
face down.
Yes.
And the first person who grabs for their phone during the
Yes.
course of this
Yes.
has to pay the bill for everyone.
Yes.
And I was like, y'all just thought of it?
Yes.
I said, who paid the bill? He was like, nobody touched that phone.
Yes. Yes.
Because nobody wanted to pay the bill. I was like, that's a great idea.
Yes.
It is. That's
Incorporate.
You know what?
No
I-
phones.
That's how can I put it? That's a teaching moment for whoever's listening.
It was a teaching moment for me, for my
For me
17
too.
year old.
Yes.
I mean, for you and I, we do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're waiting on our meal. We're talking and
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
We on the phone.
on the phone.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
I gotta check this email. Ooh,
Yeah.
no, you don't. You don't have to do it.
Right.
It can
Yes.
wait.
It can wait.
It's
It,
not
it
going
should
anywhere.
wait.
It's not gonna rot.
Yes.
What is it that I think it was Pastor Rob said, whoever is in front of you is more important.
The person in front of me is the most important person.
Not the
Yes.
person who is not in front of you,
Not the
which
person
is
not
the
in
person
front
on the
of you.
phone.
The person ringing the phone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
Oh,
That is
yeah.
so true.
Oh, yeah. Being fully present. If you
Oh,
can be.
that's it. Fully present.
Oh, yeah,
that's
absolutely.
it. That's
Yeah.
it. That's it.
Absolutely. My children, I'm studying and mommy, what they need. And I say, if you give me 5 minutes, which might turn into 10, I will close this computer up. I will look you in your face. I will hold your hand when you're talking to me. And
You'll
that's
be
it.
fully
I will be
present.
fully present.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Because I need you to understand that all of my attention right now is going towards understanding the message that you're trying to tell me.
Yes.
Even if you can't get it out all the way out,
you
know that I was here and listening.
Yes.
Yes.
That makes a huge difference with children.
Absolutely.
That makes a huge difference with Wendy B.
Oh,
because Wendy B. When I first met Wendy, she was saying something to me, and I was distracted. And she let me know very wonderfully, so beautifully, that when I'm speaking with someone, I prefer that they're looking at me, so I know that they hear what I'm saying.
Yes. I don't feel like you're paying attention to me if you're not looking at me.
And I said that makes perfect sense.
It drives me crazy
because at that time I was used to having to multitask, because when we met, I'm an environmental specialist and I was a mortgage originator for a major bank in Chicago, and so I had 4 branches I was responsible for, and the environmental specialist position I have, where I'm conducting water quality studies. So my mind was, and I'm checking emails, voicemails all the time. And so it's so easy for me to get distracted.
Yes.
But she pointed out, say, hey, you know what? I'm talking right now.
Yes.
I'm the person.
Yes.
And I said, wow, you're right. Yes. You're absolutely right. I didn't get angry.
Yes.
I learned the lesson.
Yeah. And I wasn't angry. That's the key when you're trying to relay a message, even if it's something that irritates you or bothers you. If you relay it in such a way, then it's more likely to be heard.
Right.
Yes.
But I have always been like, I need you to look me.
Unless it's the 37th time.
Well, at 37, I might get a little edge in my voice. But you were saying studying, so I want to get to that, because this thing, babe, she has 4 children.
Yes.
She has an amazing husband.
Yes.
And
yes,
she's in school for her doctorate full time.
Oh my God.
As well as teaching part time.
Yes.
Wow.
She teaching that group who think they grown.
I know.
And on paper they might be grown, but they not grown. Them 19-year-olds.
Yeah.
So tell us about this desire for your doctorate is in curriculum and instruction.
Yes, curriculum and instruction.
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
What is that?
Yes. So that curriculum is just everything that you use to teach.
Okay.
Right? Okay. Everything that you use to teach.
The tools to teach.
The tools that you use to teach.
Okay.
Right? So when you come into a school, you have the culture, but the culture is supported by the curriculum.
See how she said that?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
that's true.
So it's important to kind of look at all the different tools that are in the space to support learning. Mm-hmm. And then with instruction, we're looking at how instruction is designed. Wow. Right? How do we create spaces where we are responding to the needs of students, where we're recognizing all the different needs of our students, and we're creating avenues where they can kind of choose, they can kind of sample, right? Mm-hmm. You have like your general standard curriculum, if you will. You have specializations, you have STEM, you have STEAM, you have classical, you have music, you have all these different things, right? But in all of those spaces, you have instruction, as in, I'm in a place, I'm relaying information to you in some way, however I'm doing it, right? You're responding to that information, and then you're co-creating together.
Okay.
Right? You're co-creating together, because
wow.
I don't believe in the deposit. I believe that I can give you some, we can co-create, we can talk about it, you can digest, you can tell me what you think, I can change my mind, we can co-create together. But then after that, then we can say, well, how can that be used in another space?
I love that.
Wow.
So it's interactive.
Yes.
It's not just you standing up there saying this and pointing to the board.
Because instruction is instruction. So I don't know how many people that are listening go to church. And if you do, great. If you don't, great as well. But in the church, we have this interactive experience, right? So we have a person who is reading, talking, singing, and the people that are in the building are responding. They are responding. They are not
powerful. Passive
recipients. They are
right. They're not just sitting there waiting for it. Yeah.
Listen,
no, they're not.
Let me interrupt you.
In the black church,
because we got to get back to this.
Let's go.
Yeah.
We're at the bottom of the hour. We got a commercial spot coming up, but we're gonna be right back with this brilliant educator.
We're learning some stuff today.
soon to be Dr. Elissa Frazier.
This book is the story of Jameson Harold Donovan, who lives in the city of Sussex Falls. Feeling trapped in his dysfunctional marriage to his wife and a stranger to his own children, thoughts of suicide dominate his waking hours. Jameson discovers he was selected before birth by the Almighty to receive quasi-angelic abilities. Between the ticks of the clock. You're listening to JW Fusion with your hosts, James and Wendy B.
And we're back. Welcome.
We are back with this phenomenal woman.
With this phenomenal, amazing,
gifted and passionate about what she does. Yeah.
Let me tell you, so we can get back to this education thing, because what I was hearing as you were talking is you can't be just anybody trying to teach kids today, because these kids are so smart. You have to prepare.
Yes.
Not only the curriculum, you have to have a grasp of curriculum.
Yes.
And have the mentality to be able, because they won't respect you.
Oh, yeah.
Because you know how Matthew is. He'll tell you in a minute, this teacher doesn't.
She's dumb.
She's dumb. She's just dumb.
Yeah. He just says it. I'm like, what? Yeah.
And because they're and literally, no disrespect to that particular teacher, but you're honing your tools. You're sharpening your tools.
Oh, yeah.
To enable you to carve that mind into what it needs to be deal with this world that they're going into.
Oh, yes.
So I salute you for that, because it's not easy, and it takes you going beyond your comfort zone.
Oh, yeah.
And reinventing yourself
way out of the
on a
comfort
continual
zone.
basis.
Oh, yeah. You got to get on. You have to get uncomfortable. So the thing that grounds me is that I want children to know that they are not just exceptional, but that they are loved.
Yes.
Sure.
And that they will be pushed, but that I recognize that they push me. Right?
Okay.
Because a child who is upset, or a child who is angry, the words and actions that they're putting forth, they need something.
Okay.
Right? They need something.
Sure.
And so they're crying out for something.
Sure.
And so you have to figure out what is the need and what might be the multiple needs. So if I have a baby, very often I would have students who were 15 or 16 that were reading at a third grade level, right? So if my job is to make 1 year of growth per 1 year of you being present, well, that means that if you start at 9th grade, you end at 12th grade, 4 years of growth, you get out of here, right?
Okay.
If you come 5 years behind,
right?
So now we got to make more
catch up
than those 4 years of growth.
Sure.
So we got to do, we got to pull you up. We have to pull up your self-esteem and your motivation, and we have to kind of unpack those coping mechanisms that you've had in place to
for a long time,
to have
that's
you
not something new.
Divert those things. And so there's a lot of figuring out that goes on in that space to say, how can I get you what you need?
Yeah. Kids' minds today are so complex.
Oh, yeah.
That, I mean, it's just amazing, because I went to school with some smart kids. I was fairly smart, but today it's off the scale.
Oh, yeah.
And because of
They're
that,
brilliant.
like you said, they're stressed. They put pressure on themselves to excel, to be outstanding.
They put pressure on each other.
They put pressure on each other.
Yes.
The parents are putting pressure.
Yes.
They're living their lives through their child.
Yes.
They see that child has gifts and abilities that they didn't have.
Yes.
They wish they'd had, but they didn't have them.
Yes.
So, they see their son or their daughter with it, and now they're pushing them.
Yes.
And it's like child's not even able to enjoy childhood.
Yes.
Right, because they have so much to do. We're running here. We
yeah.
got these lessons. We got to go over here for practice over here. We got to do this. We need this time of homework.
Yeah.
Or we have to co-manage,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So mom has to go work, and so she needs you to help your brother and sister, which
Yeah.
I was raised with, right? So there were 8 of us, and I'm number 7, which means that there were 6 people older than me who could tell me what to do.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
wow.
at any given time, I had 1 to 2 of those people managing.
Wow.
Okay,
Oh,
to
my
support.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I understand that. However, we have brothers and sisters that are not just helping their brothers and sisters; they're co-parenting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So as
Yeah,
well.
I did that. I
So,
did that.
Yeah,
I did that. I looked after my brother and sister. My mother had migraine headaches, bad. From the time I was 12 until I was almost out of high school, she had migraine bad. I mean, to the point where she couldn't function. So that meant that
Yes.
my younger brother and sister
Yes.
were my responsibility. I
Yes.
cooked dinner when I was 12.
Yes.
I distinctly remember one
Yes.
Sunday my mother had a bad headache. I said, I'll cook dinner. I made dressing from scratch.
Yes.
I baked a chicken.
At
Yes.
12.
At 12.
Yes.
I cooked mixed vegetables. I made a
Yes.
cake.
Yes.
Cake wasn't so good.
Yes.
It's okay.
It was edible.
Yes.
But I made it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I made rice-a-roni.
Yes.
And my oldest brother came by.
Yes.
He said,
Rice-a-roni.
Yes.
Took it.
Yeah,
said,
he
"You-
did. Yeah.
Wow.
my brother said, you cooked all of this? I
Yes.
said, yeah, I did.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
the guys in the building where I lived,
Yeah.
I grew up in Inglewood.
Yes.
All right. And
Yes.
so the guys, they would look, we lived in a building where
Yeah.
we could look in each other's
Yeah.
houses.
Yeah.
And so in the summer, you got the window up
Yes.
with that little screen that
Yes.
does this
Yes.
to keep the
Yes.
flies out.
Yes.
So the guys would say,
Wow.
they call me Hurl.
Yeah.
Hey, Hurl, you know
Yeah.
what? I said, what? They said, you're going to make some woman a good wife, man.
Yes.
Yes.
And they were so right.
Yes.
Praise God.
Yes. Yes.
I wanted
Oh
to
my
ask you
gosh.
something
Yes,
that
come
caught
on.
my ear. What do
Yes.
you, because I'm hearing things I've never heard before.
Yes.
As a teacher.
Yes.
But also as a parent.
Yes.
What do you want parents to know as far as sending their children to
Yes.
school, what to equip them with? Like what?
Sure.
What can you give parents who are
Sure.
sending their kids to school?
Sure.
The teacher's supposed to do this.
Yes.
What is the parent's role to
Yes.
help it make it easier for you as a
Yes.
teacher?
Okay, I thought you were going a different direction, but I'm
sorry.
going to go there
We're
with
going
you.
the other direction too when we
Okay.
finish this one.
Yes.
You see how brilliant she is.
She
She heard the
is.
question
So-
you asked and the one you didn't. Go
Come
ahead.
on, but she gonna
Okay.
answer both.
So, I think that what parents can do for their kids is to ask their kids to understand the learning cycle, right? And to be able to talk about what works really well and what doesn't work for them. So most teachers that I know have some kind of routine, right? We always do 1, 2, 3,
Sure.
3,
Yeah.
4, 5, right?
Yeah.
In those routines, why am I doing this, right? So if we have kids writing spelling words or reading logs, when your teacher talks to you about that, what did she tell you? What did she tell you other than you're doing this thing? So if it's just memorize this list of words, I ask my son, I say, well, are these words that you guys talk about, you have conversations about? Are these words that you're going to write stories about? Are these words where you're connecting maybe to your science or something that's happening to your environment? You know, why is this thing is important, right? It's important for you to know why it's important.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's good.
Okay.
Right? So I always ask that question, and then I ask, how does those things that you're doing, how are they going to help you? And what do you enjoy most, and what do you not enjoy most?
Okay.
Because my son, he says, I'm not a good writer. I'm not a good writer. And I'm like, well, you say you're not a good writer, but what about it? And he's like, well, I don't have the right words. And so,
Okay.
as a teacher, and I just had a conversation with this teacher. I said, you know, sometimes Ethan really, even though he's this brilliant kid, he's off the charts, science, math, all of this, and he still gets straight A's.
Sure.
But he feels like he doesn't have the right words. And so even knowing that, that's how my kid feels about that activity.
Yeah.
When I go and I talk to that teacher and I say, I know you're introducing this kid to, and all your students to lots of vocabulary, right? Maybe we can use that and say, hey, when we're writing, when we get done with this spelling test or whatever, maybe we can pull some of these words that we can connect with you feeling fantastic about yourself, or you
Okay.
being able
Okay.
to use it in a different
Sure.
way.
That's
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I would, because like I said, all teachers, we have a routine. We got to do this, and this. If it's just, we just got to do it, like take attendance, we just got to do it, right? If we got this test coming up, right? And you need to know the order in which things happen in the test, then it's just, they say we just got to know how to do this.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's going to be.
And it's okay to say that.
And it's okay to say that.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay.
This
like, sometimes it's just,
honey.
this is the basic, right?
Yeah.
Basic is part of life. Lock the door when you leave the house.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's basic.
Yeah.
Right?
But then even in that, you're making it relatable.
Yes.
You related it to something that they could understand.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, we
Yes.
do like the door.
Yes. And you're
I
still
like
valuing the student, but you're also valuing the teacher, because
Yeah.
the teacher does all this preparation. They have all these systems
God,
in
teachers
place.
are amazing.
But
They do so much.
Yeah.
sometimes they don't relay the why this is important.
Yeah.
And your child should be able to say, hey, this is important because of this. Or I kind of learned this, but I didn't really. So making sure that you're having those
And I think
why
sometimes
conversations.
teachers have so much that they have to accomplish.
They do.
They have rules and regulations from wherever
Yes.
they work
Yeah.
of what the curriculum they have to teach.
Yes.
So sometimes it's hard, just from being on the outside looking in,
Yes.
to infuse yourself,
Yes.
or to even find a way to relate to each student, because I have to get through all of this
Yes.
through this semester,
Sure,
quarter,
sure.
whatever.
Sure.
So it's nice
Yeah.
if a teacher is willing to listen as a parent comes in and says something as eloquently, it's simple, the way you said it. Like, okay, yeah, so now I know this student is feeling this way. So maybe I could tweak just a little bit. I got all this to do, but maybe I can tweak it in such a way
Yeah.
that this person feels more empowered to do
Yes.
part of what I'm teaching.
Or that's part of your check-in. When you do your normal walking around, you're doing your quick check-ins. Because we, just like moms, we do, how you doing back there? Seatbelt on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
We do all these check-ins,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
teachers do these check-ins. So when you're doing your check-in, work that into your check-in. Or if you
love
have
that.
2 kids that have, or 3 kids that have that same, well, then now you can have kind of a, maybe a bank of check-ins.
I love that.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great. Wow.
So speaking of check-ins, she has 4 kids.
Yes.
And all 4 of your kids are completely different.
Yes.
So tell me, how do you manage that? And then you and your husband have been married for?
Yes, we have been married this is our 12th year.
Okay.
Yes.
So how do you manage this marriage? That's
Yes.
the most important.
Yes.
With these 4 completely different children, 2 of them being
Yes.
special needs.
Yes.
How do you do that?
How do we do it? So one of the things that we decided when we began to have things kind of like not go the way we thought they were going to go.
Yeah.
Sure.
So our oldest, she was 9 when we had Ethan.
Okay.
Right. So we had her and we had a dog. Okay.
Okay.
So when we began to, Ethan didn't sleep well, his colic, and then he had a bunch of medication, and then he stopped talking, and we had all these different things that were going on. And there was, well, maybe if you had done this, or maybe if you'd done this a little bit better.
Okay.
Oh,
So
yes.
there was
You get
there was
that
a
one.
lot of, well, this is what we said we were going to do, but you didn't quite follow that thing that you said you were going to do. So we began to kind of pull at each other, because we didn't sleep. We had all these therapies. We had all these different things going on,
Yeah.
and we were
Yeah.
so unhappy with what we saw as the lack of progress, because
Yeah.
we just thought, well, this is going to be over, right?
Yeah.
We
Okay.
didn't understand that this is going to be this is
is
our
the
life.
start of a
this
journey.
is our life,
Yes.
right? And so we were not hearing each other.
And then you have that emotional piece too.
Yes.
Because this child is not the way we
What
you
we
go to have, you get married, you
expected.
have children,
Yes.
and they grow up, they
Yes.
bad.
Yes.
You
Yes.
punish them.
Yes.
But
Yes.
this child has come
Yes.
here different, so now
Yes.
we have to shift.
Now we have to shift.
That's huge.
That is huge, and we didn't want to do that. And we thought, he wanted to fix it because he's a
yeah.
man.
Yeah.
He's like, I want to fix this. I want to take care of my children. I want to take
Yeah.
care of my household. I want to take care of my wife, and I can't.
Right.
And so,
And that's hard.
And that's hard.
Yeah.
So he had his own as a man,
Yeah.
and Eric is traditional in that way, in that he. He's like the Lone Ranger, the Silent Knight. He's gonna
Yeah.
just, when everybody else is sleeping, he's gonna make sure he's thinking about what it
Sure.
is that we need,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
Yeah.
And so he couldn't take care of things, and then I, on the other hand, was saying, what a horrible person I must be that I could not even create. That it just really, and I'm just giving you the deepness.
I know.
Yeah,
I've been there though.
Yeah, the deepness.
You go through the checks and balances. Well, I had coffee.
Yeah, I'm like,
just stupid stuff. I had
do?
coffee. I stood up here too long.
Right. What did I do?
It had to be something I did.
It had to been. It had to been. And so once we stopped and said, man, we are the ones that are prepared for this.
Yeah.
We didn't know we were prepared, but we are prepared. And not only that, we're going to continue to get prepared, and we're going to speak to each other in love in all things.
Yeah. That's key. That's vital. When you're facing difficulty, the last thing you need to do is point fingers.
Oh no, we were pointing fingers, and we were sullen.
But
we're not going to talk, and we're just going to look at you.
Yeah, it's kind of a human response to when you don't understand something, then you got to blame something or someone.
We have to blame something.
But we were blaming ourselves.
I know.
Simultaneously.
Yeah. And even if it's yourself, you got to blame. It can't be. It's difficult for us to accept that something just happened.
Right. Exactly.
Now, people can accept the fact if they have a child that's a genius or this child is a gifted athlete. He can run 100 meters.
We're gonna take credit for that.
He can smoke Usain Bolt.
Yes.
We don't have no problem with that.
Sure.
We don't say, well, how did that happen?
Sure.
You're just thankful for
Sure.
it. But when it's something negative happens, then all of a sudden now we got to explain it. We got to understand it.
Yes.
Either way it goes.
Either way, it's something that
you can't
happened.
change it.
Yes.
It is what it is. So
Yes.
we're going to have to change ourselves because
Oh, yeah.
we can't change the circumstance.
Right.
So we have to change.
You have to
yeah.
change, mold
We
and
need to
shape
change.
yourself for what this child needs.
Exactly.
Yeah, and we had to realize that all the things that have made us who we are, right? Our children have all the things that have made them who they are.
Exactly.
Yes.
Right? And so we were like, how can we see that and find that? Instead of trying to fix, how can we see that and find that?
And do that together.
And do that together.
Yes.
And then we began to say, I'm really sorry. Like,
that's
I
powerful.
said this hurtful thing to you, or I did this hurtful thing to you. I'm really sorry. The last thing that I want to do is make you feel like you don't matter, because you matter.
Yes.
And
That's powerful.
we would say that to each other, and so that's how we kind of got through the rough points, and then we started telling our family that hey, if you feel like you want to prescribe that we should or should not go to this therapy, or do not do this thing, right? Those prescriptions are unasked for, right?
Unsolicited.
Are unsolicited. And so I'm going to need
people good.
Yeah.
They are going to
what they
tell
think
you
you
what
should
you
and
should
shouldn't do.
Yeah.
And so if that's what
Yeah.
you think, you can write it down, you can profess it, you can do all those
Yes.
things, you can
Yes.
have all your thoughts.
Keep it over there.
But I
Keep it
need you
over
to
there.
hold on to these things, because if our children do not see us together,
Yes.
right, as a unit,
Yes.
then everything else we do is fractured.
They need
Yeah.
that.
Yes.
Children
They
need
have
that
to have that.
security. They have to have that in order to not only feel safe, but to respect their parents
Oh, yeah.
as a unit. As they have to have that
Oh, yeah.
respect that, hey, I can't try to play mom against dad. I have
And
to.
they will.
They will.
Yeah.
They come here knowing how to do that.
They
yeah.
they
Oh,
they're
yeah.
I don't know
smart
if they,
like that.
they teach them in baby heaven or
I
something.
don't know.
They teach them.
This is what you do.
Jesus.
You know,
They teach 'em.
But then also what I took from my experiences is that this is your child's first example
Yes.
of a relationship.
Yes.
And if you're presenting it as fractured, and I
Yes.
love that word,
Yes.
then they are going to mimic that as they
They
grow
are.
older.
Yes.
And so if you're
Yes.
presenting a powerful, united, loving front,
Yes.
then that's a great example for them.
Yes.
It's not
Yes.
once we have children,
Yes.
it's not about us anymore.
Yes.
No, it's not.
It's about what we're pouring
Yeah.
into them.
And
Yes.
you make a very good point, because they do set that, they create an invisible
yeah.
benchmark.
Yeah.
Whereas,
yeah.
If I told you about the young lady I knew when I was in high school, she asked me, and shortly after that I stopped seeing her, she said, "How come you never hit me?" I said, what do you mean? She said, you never hit me. All my girlfriends, boyfriends hit them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So she set this benchmark that this is the treatment.
Because that's her experience.
Yes.
Not even her experience, her peer.
Oh,
Right.
yes.
Not even
They're
her.
normal.
So she thinks this is normal, you know,
Yes.
and so it's vital. Even though I didn't have that as a child, I made sure that it was a couple of things I did with my kids. I never gave a promise or made a promise or gave my word to something that I didn't do.
Oh, yeah.
No matter how inconvenient it was,
Oh, yeah.
no matter how difficult it was, if I said I'm going to do something, I did it.
Oh, yeah.
Because growing up, I was promised so many different things. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do other than getting a whooping. I got every one of those promises.
Through on that promise, right?
but
Yes.
but the other promises, they didn't happen.
Yeah.
You know, and so.
But it's just that's a small example, but it's
huge.
powerful.
Sure it is.
Yeah.
Sure it is.
It shapes who a person can grow
you
into
will
being.
grow up into a person that does not keep their word.
Yeah.
But too, I would say that I agree. But what we began to do is we would explain the exception, right?
Sure,
So if
sure.
my children would see me crying, they would say, "Mommy, why are you crying?" And I would say, I'm having a moment where I'm feeling really sad, and I'm gonna come out of it, but I'm feeling really sad right now. And I need this minute to cry.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
And I would literally say that I need this minute to cry. And they would not always see me crying, but it was okay for them to see me in that moment. And then I would say, you know what, I'm feeling better or whatever the case may be. And I'm saying that because if we were unable to keep our word to our children, we would say, this was our intention and we're going to try our best not to do this again. But this thing happened.
But you know what, though? That's still keeping your word. The word, when it says keep your word, that means protect your word.
Oh, yeah.
Don't lose the validity and the veracity of your word. Even if you can't do the thing, you address it just like you did.
Yeah.
Now that's a good example.
That makes
it
all better.
Even though you couldn't follow through on what you promised.
Yes.
You kept your word in the sense that in your children's mind.
Yes.
My mom we didn't get to go to Disney.
Yes.
We didn't get the G.I. Joe with the Kung Fu grip.
Yes, that's it.
But she explained.
She-Ra, He-Man, yes.
Yeah, she explained why. And in their hearts, you kept your word.
Oh, yeah.
Because you made them feel important.
Oh, absolutely.
Enough for you to explain.
Absolutely.
I didn't get no explanations.
Absolutely.
Well, that wasn't what we did. They did back in the day, though.
No.
It was because I said so. Every response was because I said so.
Well, how come? Because I said so.
Yeah.
That's how it was.
So I wanted to ask you.
Yes.
Now you have Miss Harlem.
Yes.
And then you have Ethan.
Yes.
Then you have Levi.
Oh, my Levi
Does
Daniel.
that put you're like, wait a minute.
Yes.
Wait.
Yeah.
Now so he's autistic, but he had some physical issues as well.
Yes.
Did you know when you're pregnant?
No.
Okay.
Levi was born with his intestines on the outside of his body.
So that's a shocker.
It was. We believe, so we're believers. And if you are, you are. If you're not, you're not. But I put it out there. We had a 3D ultrasound. And so we were very excited to see the intricacies of our son.
Sure.
And we believe, this was our theory, that when we had that 3D ultrasound, that there had to been an angel covering that thing up.
It's because you didn't see that.
Because we didn't see
You
that.
would just think that
We
would
were
come
just-
through on that.
And it was supposed to. And it was supposed to. And so
A 3D too?
it was a 3D.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so
They show everything.
Yeah, everything, right? And so when he came out and his intestines were on the outside of his body and they covered him up and they rushed him into surgery and all of that kind of thing. I was all of that, right? We were like, how could this be? How could
What
this
in
be?
the world?
What is
Yeah.
what is going on? And so we started praying, all that stuff
Together.
together.
Yeah.
Our son had surgery, and the very next morning, and I always tell people this story, but it's really important for me to realize is that when my son was under the heat lamp, he had just undergone surgery.
Sure.
I came to see him. Both of us did, and the nurses said, "Your son is exceedingly strong." And we said, "Well, why?" I said, "I know he is." I said, "But why did you say that?" And she said he pulled out every single one of the IVs in his body. after surgery. They put him on the lamp.
He's like, listen, I'm done.
He just pulled him out. And so I thought to myself, here is this child who had 100 centimeters of his intestine cut off, and he had a couple of other surgeries after that. But less than 24 hours that he was born with this condition, that he had a strength that they had never seen before. She said, I have never seen this before.
Wow.
And that gave me
Levi
that gave me so much right
Levi's
there.
Levi's a powerful name.
Levi's a powerful name, but just so I'm telling you to say that, you know, my Levi still he's musically gifted. He can hear something and just play it on the piano without he's extraordinary.
That's wonderful.
Extremely sensitive, but he's still working on his language. And so on one end,
because he's also autistic.
He's also, you know, autistic, and so he'll say, Levi has to go to the bathroom. I have to go to the bathroom. You know,
he's third person.
But just imagine. I'm telling you that
he's
again,
teaching you something
he's
from day one.
From day one,
just like, listen, I'm strong. I'm good.
That's it. I have
that.
this internal strength. And so so that's my Levi Daniel.
So now,
Levi
so now you
Daniel.
have,
that is,
and I love Daniel. That's one of my favorite names.
Yes.
But so real, because I always run out of time. You have 3 children, 2 back to back have something.
Yes.
And then you go and have Little Mama. Where you like, I don't know, should we?
Yes.
You kind of nervous.
Yes.
How does that?
So Little Mama, we had every test ever.
Yeah.
You know, we had a couple of 3D ultrasounds. We had
like take another
chromosomal tests. We had all kinds of stuff. You know, so but she has made all her benchmarks. Judea.
Yeah.
Yes, and she
got to hear her name. You know, we got to have each one.
Yes, Judea. She's doing great, and so she actually reminds me a lot of her older sister, Harlem.
Okay.
They're both they both love music. They love dancing. They love imagining that they're telling stories. So
that's huge with such a big age difference too.
Yes,
that they have that connection.
They do. Yeah,
awesome.
So I'm blessed. I have a great husband. I have wonderful children, and they get on my nerves. I mean,
that's their job. That is the number one thing on a job description.
Absolutely.
Because I know mine does his job.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what's in the future for you? What do you have something coming out that we should know about?
So I am. Well, actually, me and Eric are talking about doing a joint book together.
Thank you.
Oh,
I was
awesome.
hoping that you said that.
That's awesome.
Joint book together.
Awesome.
That's so important.
Yes, he's my sounding board, but he has such great ideas, and he's so like humble with. He's like, it's nothing, but he's great. So,
please do that book.
Yeah. So we'll
it's
do
needed.
That. Yep.
Especially with the journey that you've been through.
Yeah.
And I've always told James, I said, I'm so passionate about couples. Understanding that this is not going to be, because you said I do, for better and for worse. Most people don't factor in what that worse can be.
Absolutely.
I could have never told you what that worse could have been.
Yes.
But you have to know that at the end of the day, you're in it together.
Yes.
You in the trenches, but you fighting together to come up out the trenches.
Yeah.
So please write that book.
I'm
going to stay on you about this book.
She will do that.
I'm going to bug you. Olivia is calling about this book.
Yes.
Yeah, she will. My second book, my editor is halfway through it now. Actually, further, because she should be done editing by the end of the week. So I'm working towards the cover now.
I love it.
Yeah. It's called Shattered Ceilings, 12 Steps to Unlimited Thinking.
All right.
Yeah.
And Wendy was on my case. You got to get on that book. Get on that book.
it.
Just like she did the first one.
Quit playing.
You know?
Yes.
That's my favorite phrase. Quit playing.
You know
thank
what?
you so
Our
much for
time
being
is
on the show.
up.
We ran
Oh
out
my
of time.
God.
Yes.
But thank you. It was
Thank
a
you
blessing.
so much.
Oh,
having you on our show.
And
thank you for teaching us.
You are
some things we
such
didn't
a
know.
gift to so many people.
Oh, you're sweet.
And
I'll
as
take
soon
it.
as y'all have that book, you have to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so serious.
Yeah.
Well, listen, that's our show for this week. We're so happy to have a wonderful guest. And until next time, allow God's grace to continue to flow in your life as a mighty river.
Be blessed, everyone. Hi, this is Wendy, and welcome to The Wendy Life. This is a brand new show. We are celebrating some unsung champions in our community, the disabled community. I have been a mom of disabled children for 21 years, and I look to bring light to this community. We are going to talk to and celebrate therapists,
teachers, doctors in this community. We're going to talk to the special needs community themselves, people who are rocking out this life despite their disability, showing us how to live our best lives no matter what life throws at us. You can find us on the Ultimate Faith TV network, which is on your Roku streaming box, or Road to Eternity on YouTube. That's Road, the number 2, and Eternity. Come check us out.
The Wendy Life. New episodes every second and fourth Friday on the Road to Eternity channel.
You're listening to JW Fusion with your hosts, James and Wendy B.